So, when you think about AI, you're probably picturing stuff like ChatGPT or those incredible image generators, right? But behind all that software magic, there's this massive hidden world of hardware. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a company that's quietly building the actual engine for India's entire AI dream.
All right, here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to peek inside the AI engine room to see what makes this whole thing run. Then we'll meet a real Indian underdog in this space, see how they're fighting the giants, and, uncover the secret weapon. After that, we'll size up the local competition and ask the big question: could this one company become the backbone of India's AI future? Let's dive in.
Okay, first up, the AI engine room. Let's talk about what's really running the show behind the scenes.
Yeah, we see AI in our apps, on our phones, pretty much everywhere, but what really powers it? It's not just some code floating around in the cloud. No, it requires an immense amount of real, physical power.
You can actually break down the entire AI value chain into these 5 key layers. See, it all starts with data, and it ends up with the app you use on your phone. But we're going to focus right smack in the middle, on that all-important second layer, compute and infrastructure. This is the engine room we're talking about. The best way to think about this layer is like the power grid for the whole AI industry. It's all the servers, all the storage, and this is the big one, all the powerful graphics processing units, or GPUs, that are needed to train and run these massive models. To put it simply, without this layer, there is no AI, period. So who's working in this engine room in India? Well, it's time to meet the hero of our story, a homegrown company that's been in the cloud game for over a decade now. Let's talk about E2E Networks. And what this timeline shows you is that E2E is no newcomer just jumping on the AI bandwagon. No way. They were founded way back in 2009. That's long before cloud was a word you heard every day. Now, they've carved out a super important niche as a cost-efficient, India-first provider of that GPU power we were just talking about. You can basically think of them as India's NVIDIA in the cloud enabler. They take those absolutely essential, incredibly powerful, and super expensive NVIDIA chips, and they make them affordable and accessible for local developers and startups through their cloud platform. Okay, but getting into this business means you're not just playing locally, you're stepping into the global AI arena. And that, my friends, is a classic David versus Goliath story. And here are the fighters. In one corner, you've got our Indian underdog, E2E Networks. And in the other corner, the global hyperscalers, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. We're talking about behemoths with nearly unlimited resources. So how on earth can a smaller company possibly compete with that?
Right, that is the million-dollar question. And the answer isn't to try and fight them on their own terms. It's to use a very specific, very strategic secret weapon. So let's break down how this underdog actually wins.
Their most powerful weapon is, you guessed it, cost. Being 30 to 40% cheaper for GPU cloud services is a total game changer. For a startup trying to build the next big thing on a shoestring budget, this isn't just a nice little discount. It's the difference between being able to build their dream or not. But hey, their edge isn't just about being the cheapest. They also have local Indian data centers, which is absolutely crucial for data sovereignty and compliance rules. And they're just incredibly startup friendly. They cut through all the red tape you get with the bigger players. What they're really doing is democratizing AI, making these powerful tools accessible to literally everyone, from students to small research labs. Okay, so competing with global giants is one thing, but they aren't the only game in town. Let's zoom into India's own cloud contenders and see what the local landscape really looks like. Now, what this table really clarifies is that everyone has their own unique role. See how E2E is totally focused on being that nimble, price-led cloud for the builders, the startups, and the indie labs? That's a world away from a company like Yotta, which targets huge enterprises, or Netmagic, which is kind of like the landlord just providing the physical data center space for everyone else. They're not all fighting for the exact same customer, you see. So what really makes E2E different is this intense, laser-like focus on the builder. Their pricing is public. You just go to their website. No need for endless enterprise sales calls. Their tools are self-serve, designed for small, fast teams. They are, by definition, a scrappy enabler for anyone who needs to build something cool, fast, and affordably. So, with a strategy that clear and focused, what does the road ahead even look like? What are the big challenges and, of course, the opportunities on the horizon? Well, it's definitely not going to be an easy path. For one, there's a global shortage of the very NVIDIA chips they depend on. That's a huge hurdle. Then you've got the rivals, who have incredibly deep pockets and could start a price war at any moment. And to really grow, E2E will eventually need to move beyond just providing the raw infrastructure to offering more high-value AI platforms.
But, and this is a big but, the opportunity is just immense. This quote really nails the potential here. E2E could transform from a small-cap niche player into a strategic pillar of India's AI economy. We're talking about them becoming absolutely essential to the country's national AI ambitions.
And that brings us to our final, really important thought. As India pushes to become self-reliant in artificial intelligence, who is actually going to build its future? Is it going to be the scrappy, nimble enablers like E2E who empower developers from the ground up? Or will it be the scaled giants with their massive top-down programs? The answer to that question is going to define India's entire AI ecosystem. Thank you for joining this explainer.